You're watching Musical Theater Mash. Hello.
Oh. Hello. Here I am.
Let's talk about The Sound of Music. No, not that one. We'll get to that one later. For some reason, I remember this movie as being a part of my childhood. Now, I don't remember watching it as a part of my childhood, I just remember it being a part of my childhood.
Perhaps I had a miserable youth.
Strangely enough, the movie Sister Act sits on the same shelf in my brain, and I get the two confused sometimes.
Hail, girls. Hail, Mary. What's up? Well, Jerusalem's become a real drag. Everybody hates me. Not that guy over there. Who, him? They all say he's different. They say he's really weird.
Why hasn't anybody filmed a movie with Whoopi Goldberg and a bunch of nuns fighting the Nazis?
Sister Alma, could you give me an A, please? Alma, check your battery.
Now, I'm sure you know, in this movie, Julie Andrews plays a nun and a nanny. What is it with her and playing nannies? Or queens? Or queens? Our story begins at Hogwarts Abbey, where Maria is constantly getting into hot water with Reverend Mother McGonagall for being decidedly un-nun-like.
How do you solve a problem like Maria? How do you catch a cloud and pin it down? How do you find a word that means Maria? A flippity-gibbet, a will-o'-the-wisp, a clown.
After the sisters do some gossiping and backstabbing, Maria is excused from the Abbey to become a nanny.
To take care of 7 children.
7 children?
Do you like children, Maria?
Oh, yes, but I'm 7.
I understand he's had a most difficult time managing to keep a governess there.
Why difficult, Reverend Mother?
I mean, nowadays, people just major in theater when they don't know what to do with their lives.
I have confidence in sunshine. I have confidence in rain.
After a long walk and an even longer song... Wait a minute. Doesn't that carpet bag look familiar? Do you think there's a lamp in there? Mary Poppins jokes. Oh. Anyway, after a long walk and an even longer song, Maria ends up at the Von Trapp Home for Wayward Children. Liesl, Friedrich, Louisa, Kurt, Brigitte, Marta, and Gretl. Collect them all! I had a holographic first edition Kurt when I was young. I had a strange childhood. Speaking of childhoods, one of the most unique productions of The Sound of Music I have ever seen was performed by a family theater community group. Now, families would audition together, so parents and kids would audition, and that created a need for a whole bunch of children's parts. So, they cast 30 Von Trapp children. It was great. They would have whole numbers where, you know, the 7 of them would come out and they'd, oh dear, and then Captain Von Trapp would walk to the back and he'd open a door and in would walk 26 children. The bastard children of Captain Von Trapp. It was interesting. But this does bring me to a theory I've had for a while now. I call it the Von Trapp law of primary and recency. Now, the laws of primary and recency, or collectively the serial position effect, state that you are most likely to remember the first item in a list and the last item in a list. The stuff in the middle is more difficult to remember. My conjecture is that the oldest child, Liesl, and the youngest child, Gretl, are the only Von Trapps that are worth talking about. The other Von Trapp children are just filler children. Maria models this phenomenon for us.
God bless Liesl and Friedrich. God bless Louisa, Brigitte, Marta, and little Gretl. And, oh, I forgot the other boy. What's his name? Well, God bless what's his name? Kurt! That's the one I left out. God bless Kurt.
Kurt is right in the middle. So, let's talk about the most important Von Trapps, the youngest and the oldest. Liesl, the oldest of the Von Trapp children, tallest too, water type, and her special ability is gazebo run. So, what is Liesl good at? She's good at marching. She's good at sneaking into windows. She's good at singing the note T.
T, T.
She's good at changing her mind. She's good at being the oldest looking 16-year-old you have ever seen. And that's all I got. Oh, Rolf! No discussion of Liesl would be complete without discussion of her romantic interest. And nothing says romantic interest like a blonde, baby-faced, bicycle-riding telegraph boy. Enter Rolf.
Oh, Rolf.
No, Liesl, we mustn't.
Why not, silly?
I don't know, it's just that
Isn't this why you're here waiting for me?
Yes, of course. I've missed you, Liesl.
You have? How much?
So much that I even thought of sending you a telegram, just so I'd be able to deliver it here.
Can we just pause for a moment to talk about inflection? Now, all of you young musical theater performers out there, whatever you do, don't do this with your inflection.
Don't worry about Father. He's a big naval hero. He was even decorated by the Emperor.
If it constantly sounds like you're talking to a puppy dog or a small animal, you're doing something wrong. Now granted, it's easier when your character has more depth, but I'll get to that later. That's alright. I'm sure Rolf will make up for it with his robust, manly singing voice.
You wait, little girl, on an empty stage for fate to turn the light on.
There it is! You know, his voice might be the same pitch as the housekeeper's.
All right now, children, outside for your walk. Father's orders.
Your life, little girl, is an empty page that men will want to write on.
I tell you, this song could very well be Rolf's personal introspective. It sure would explain a lot of things. But enough romantic advice from 16-year-old Salzburgers. Let's move on to Gretl.
Why am I always lost?
Because you are the most important.
Oh.
The youngest of the Von Trapps, Gretl also gained the most weight during production. A stunt double had to be used during this scene so that Chris Plummer wouldn't pass out. True story. Gretl is also an expert stair climber.
The sun has gone to bed, and so must I.
I mean, look at that!
And that's it, I'm afraid. There's no more from you on the transcript. That's the last I've got.
I thought I'd have more to say about this. I mean, it's The Sound of Music, winner of 5 Oscars, based upon the Tony Award-winning musical, based upon actual real life. But it's just not all that interesting. I mean, sure, there's the grand historical undertones of the Anschluss, with Nazi Germany slowly taking over Austria, both intellectually and physically. There's also the parallel saga of how love grows unrequited, first between the captain and the baroness, and then between Liesl and Rolf. There's also the captain's subtext-rich internal struggle between mourning his late wife and coming to terms with her passing. There's Maria's honest and heartfelt journey to find her God-given place in this world, even in spite of monumental obstacles. And of course there's the underlying what-ifs. What if Maria hadn't shown up? Would the Von Trapps have gotten out of Austria? Would the captain have reconnected with his children? Would marionette goats have ever been so entertaining? Okay, I guess there are some interesting things about this show. It's important to keep those in mind and not get caught up in the saccharine sweetness of Austrian children singing solfège. Oh, and one last thing about Miss Underwood's production. Yes, she wasn't the best actress, and even with some stunning vocal renditions, her performance was somewhat lackluster. Still, when was the last time you saw a musical on primetime television? The Matthew Broderick Music Man debacle of 2003? NBC did a wonderful thing taking this risk, and for that, I think we all owe them a big thank you. Or at least a box of Austrian chocolates.